We've noticed that more and more academics we've talked to, young people we've talked to, ordinary people, they're rebelling against PC culture. And we saw an article in Spikes recently which was talking about how, I think it was at the time of the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, how many comedians are now starting to turn their back on the idea of political correctness. Do you get the sense that the tide is turned, or is it turning? What do you sort of make of it all?
I think it's turning. I think something's happening. And I think that's really interesting. I think people now realize that that's not a sustainable way of life, just to constantly check yourself and self-edit all the time and self-censor, even worse. They just realize that's not an honest approach to life. And it's particularly bad for comedians, because the whole point of comedy is that you're supposed to make people you're supposed to shock people or surprise people or make them laugh when they least expect to laugh. And if even comedy becomes politically correct, which has been happening, then you know we're in a bad way. So I do think things are turning. I think if you add everything together, if you look at the millennial pushback that is happening against millennial fragility, if you look at the even these police forces saying, let's stop investigating wolf whistles and get on with normal crime. If you look at Brexit, if you look at the populist uprisings that are taking place, not all of which are having positive consequences, but all of which are quite interesting and rebellious. And if you look at the kind of rise on campuses of liberal, youthful groups saying, actually, we do want freedom of speech, I think there is a lot to be cheerful about. I think but I think the task for people like us is to give a real sense of momentum to that pushback, and to really encourage it, and to talk to people about why it's so important to keep doing that, because those people will be under enormous pressure from the PC lobby to stop doing these things and to stop fighting for freedom of speech and to stop making offensive jokes. So the more that we can give them a sense of solidarity, then I think the better off we'll be in the long run in relation to defending freedom.